Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, a quick and easy way to make the telephone effect on whatever you want to have that applied to. The telephone effect is a very common and easy effect to do to manipulate what is usually a lead vocal, or really could be any part, to make it sound a lot smaller and not have as much impact, or to actually make it poke out just a little bit more. It's really easy to do because if you think about it, it's just an EQ. But there's a few things that you could do to really spice it up for your own as well. Let's take a dive into the DAW and take a look. So here we are in our session, and what we're going to do is we're going to pay attention to this lead vocal right here, and we're in the second verse. Without anything on it, it sounds like this.
Adrenaline is flowing through my veins. I let the demons that I cannot.
Okay, pretty clean. There's no other effects. There's actually nothing on this entire session as it is. So let's go ahead. This is the second verse in this song. And let's very quickly and easily pull open our Pro EQ. Now, if you really want to make things simple for yourself, you find the preset. In here, you're going to go under miscellaneous, and right here, telephone. But take a look at what it's actually doing. You have a low cut filter all the way up to 700 hertz. Then you also have a high cut filter all the way down to 4.5. Then to really make it poke out, there's two frequency bumps right in the mid-range. Here at 1.2K and here at 2K. And one's a little more narrow than the other. You can see that the high mid is a little more narrow than just the mid. The mid is giving a general mid bump, but that high mid is really poking that 2K out. Now let's take a listen to the vocal again.
Adrenaline is flowing through my veins. I let the demons that I cannot face.
Way different sounding. It's much smaller and really nasally, but it sounds like he's talking on a telephone. That's the telephone effect. You can do this with any EQ. Really, a good way to start is to grab a high pass and low pass filter and just scoop it all the way in to really limit the bands. You want just the upper mid range, so you want to take out everything in the super lows. Honestly, start at least 500 hertz and get rid of everything below that. And then for the top end, you want to take your high cut and bring it all the way down to about 4.5-ish, maybe 5K. Play around with your numbers. Maybe you want it a little bit smaller. Maybe you want it a little bit bigger. This is a nice way to just restrict where the vocal can sit, at least for a little while. Then to really bring out that telephone effect, you can do some mid bumps like they did here. If we take these out, you'll hear that it's still really filtered, but not as pokey.
Adrenaline is flowing through my veins. I let the demons that I cannot.
Let's put them back in.
Adrenaline is flowing through my veins. I let the demons that I cannot face.
So you can hear with those two mid bumps, it gets real nasally and real pokey, comes right out of the speakers at you. We're going to leave this on and we're going to open up another plugin. And this one actually comes with the Prime version. And this is the Red Light District Distortion. Again, to give us that old telephony sound, we want to be able to restrict the frequency range. So what we're going to do here is, again, open up one of our presets. We're going to do old radio on this one. Going to move this over and pin it down and open up our EQ. So our EQ is still active, and our telephoned EQ is now going into the Red Light District drive. I'm going to start with the mix at 0 and slowly bring it up. And you'll hear how just a little bit of saturation and distortion from Red Light District really brings out kind of a warm, crunchy characteristic. It's really nice.
Adrenaline is flowing through my veins. I let the demons that I cannot face.
Something to keep in mind as you're doing this, with the added saturation from the Red Light District, it may get a perceived bump in volume. Just play with your balances and work it into your mix. Maybe you don't want as much as I did here because I went all the way just to really show you guys what's going on. But you can do anything you want with the mix knob and get the right blend for you. To hear what Red Light District is doing just on its own, I'm going to turn off the EQ going into it. Now we'll just get Red Light District and the old radio preset.
Adrenaline is flowing through my veins. All of the demons that I cannot face.
So you could see, even with just the Red Light District, we're able to get the same kind of telephony sound. This is great for the Prime users because they have Red Light District available to them, and they don't have Pro EQ and the preset of the telephone. The EQ that they have is in the channel strip, and it's a little restrictive. You just have high and low shelves, you do have a low cut, and you have a mid boost. So maybe the Prime users, to get the same effect, can use Red Light District instead. But for everybody else, you have a combination of using Pro EQ, or whatever EQ you want to use, and some saturation afterwards. Maybe you like Red Light District, maybe you don't like it with. But this is the general idea of how to get that telephone effect. The telephone effect is really popular among beginner engineers. You're just using the basics of an EQ and filtering everything out and constricting the mid-range of whatever you want. I'm not saying that only beginners use the telephone effect, because you can hear this on the radio today on massive, massive hits. It's a very popular effect, and it all boils down to the basics. EQ. You just filter everything down and get a really nice old-timey kind of sound. That's all for now. If you found anything informative, please like and share the video. For more, visit timflansbaum.com. And if you have a question, ask it in a comment and I'll answer it in a future video. Thanks for watching.